Welcome to Rolls and Lolz, the Hume podcast. For those of you who don't know Hume, a quick overview: we are a recruitment training business, founded and run by two recruiters, myself and Laura, who've been recruiting for over 30 years. We're super passionate about the industry. We teach recruiters, agency owners all across Australia, New Zealand, and hopefully one day the world, because we're planning on taking it over. Over to Laura.
My name is Laura, co-founder of Hume. We're going to be running this podcast weekly. The aim is just to give you little bits of advice, tips, tricks, all related to the recruitment industry, and hopefully some laughs along the way too.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you'd like more info, go to humescope.com.au. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Please give it a like, give it a follow, give it a share, send us a message, and spread the love and word. Hope you enjoy the episode.
Thanks, guys. Week 2. If you've come back, you're not entirely sure why at this point. We promise, we hope to start adding some value.
Yeah.
We're on the clock.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Go. Okay.
Coffee. This is your coffee break.
Yes.
So we thought this week we'd talk about managing burnout. It's a massive thing for recruiters. The last 3 years especially have been so intense.
Yeah.
And I think every year we go into the year going, okay, things will slow down or calm down a little bit. They just haven't. And they never do. And they haven't throughout my whole career.
And also if they did slow down, you actually wouldn't want to do this job.
No, we thrive. People who enjoy recruitment thrive under pressure and they thrive under deadlines and they love the pace of it. But then they often tend to be quite type A people because the job is target driven, it's high pressure, so that does attract a type A personality. And what a type A is not great at doing is actually having boundaries.
Okay, why don't we go with this episode of what you have done to avoid burnout? And I feel like you did it really well. You've got very, very solid boundaries.
I feel better. I'm better at it now than I ever have been, but that is because I have taken myself to absolute burnout in the past. And I think by doing that, you start to see the warning signs very, very quickly of this isn't healthy how I'm operating at the moment. And I even had a moment a few weeks ago where I've been nearly lost it. It was, that game where it's not the donkey, the horse, and you're putting the saddle on him and then the hat, buckaroo, and it's you put one more thing on and it just flips, it fucking loses it. That's literally where I was at. But I think I notice the warning signs a lot better now, and it's okay, cool, I'm starting to move towards this place.
You know what I think overall it is, and I was thinking about this the other day. It is typically recruiters are not good at saying no.
Yeah, 100%.
But they don't say no to clients that pull up with really shitty fees. They don't say no to candidates who mess them around. They just go, okay, we'll do it. And so that ends up with a huge plate full of crap that you can't actually deal with because you've not said no.
This about the placement. As long as I make a placement and we don't go, hang on a minute, these are good quality jobs I'm working on. Are these candidates fully invested in this?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, if I just push this through, I might get an outcome.
And being realistic with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can convince yourself that candidate,
it's
super invested, sure, it's fine. Oh, but they don't call you back. No, it's fine. They must have
Wash down the intuition, ignore it.
That's exactly it.
And I think another big thing in our industry is that it's always been celebrated that you kind of, you work really hard and then you blow out by going for drinks and benders and nights out, and that's your way of blowing off steam.
That's true.
And no one's actually given being taught a sustainable way of managing their energy. And a lot of people find that on their own, but I didn't find that until my late 20s.
Yeah, I didn't actually until, I'd say honestly, hand on heart, until I started Spencerlane.
Yeah, right.
And I remember consciously one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own business was so that I could manage my own time and be able to confidently say no.
Yeah.
And I could have done that in my last role, so it was actually up to me. But for some reason in Spencer Lane, I was like, it's completely my choice and no one can say anything. And so I would shut off at 2 o'clock every single day for the first year. And went on 3 months of holiday.
That's
in
right.
Cuba, and still
Just fucked off.
and still made a fucking killing and did really well. But it was boundaries and going, okay, my boundary for this first year is 2 o'clock cut off. Sorry, don't care if candidates call afterwards. I'm not saving the world. They'll survive. Clients will survive if they call me off to do and I'm not there. Sorry, at that stage, that's my personal time. Not doing it.
Yeah, and I think you do need sometimes that level of objectivity to go, the world isn't ending. Because I often go into this place of like, be the best service provider ever.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? It's people-pleasing energy. And I think a lot of us get into recruitment because we want to help people and we like helping people. But when people-pleasing is unhealthy is when you don't have boundaries. So all of your time is being drained. You're not filling up your own cup at all. You're just giving out to everyone. And then when you land targets on top of that, that's when people, they really start to frazzle. And I think you need sustainable practices in your life that fill up your cup, that don't deplete you. And I think a lot of us are taught to blow off steam as opposed to fill up our cups. I think that's the difference.
What's the term? Someone said it to me the other day. You can't put the life jacket. You have to put your own life jacket on first before you help others.
Yeah.
And we often, I did it in my early career, help others first, and then you're there drowning.
Totally.
So you can't actually be of use to anyone. To your clients or your candidates.
No. If you want to help people, you need to have the energy to do so. So I think for me, it's sustain, and it's nothing. I don't think it's anything like that you wouldn't know. It's just the consistency to it. Like I literally cannot not start my day now without meditation. Like that for me, grounding, centering, fills up my energy, allows me to view things objectively, gives me a very clear standpoint on how I sit with things. That's a massive, massive thing for me.
You know what I introduced recently?
What?
I'm now a huge gym junkie.
Oh my God.
I've been to the gym 8 times in the last 2 weeks, guys.
Ezra started going to the gym, and this morning we had protein shakes. Like, I literally don't know what has happened to this man. But
that really helps me. And you know what? For the first few times, about a month ago when I started going religiously 7:30, and I'm an early starter, so I usually was in the office at 7, and that would be my little admin time, 7 to 9. I lost that, and for the first few times going to the gym with my PC at 7:30, started to feel guilty. I'm like, oh shit, I'm missing out on all this admin time. But ultimately, I was like, fuck it, I don't care. This will do me good, and I always feel better after I leave the gym.
Yeah.
And you work out ways around it.
Yeah.
And I was so worried that I would actually miss that admin time. Nothing really happened. I just moved my admin time from 8:30 to 9:30, and it's fine. The world has not ended.
And that's the thing, like, we often prioritise the things that we shouldn't be prioritising and don't prioritise the things that are actually going to help. And I think having a really strong morning and evening routine, like I think having that clear boundary between this is my time, this is work time, this is my time. And I think working from home is really hard with that because the evenings can bleed into like, I'll just do another email, I'll log onto my emails later because there's no divide. Like I genuinely, when I finish work at the end of the day, shut my laptop and leave the house. And when I come back into the house, it's my home again, not my work, you know. And I think for everyone, I think it's going to look different, whether it's just like a, you know, spending time, like getting a coffee in the morning, going for a walk, or, you know, reading something. I think for everyone it's going to look different, but I think what the key is, do you have balance in your life, or is your whole life about work? Because that isn't sustainable, and I have done that, and I burnt out to the point where I couldn't run my agency anymore, you know. So I think balance and consistency with things that make you feel good. And I think with like the blowouts and things like that, letting off steam, that's all well and good, but is it depleting you? Are you doing it to not have to deal with your shit? I think
we're heading 10 minutes, but we haven't had a lull today, so we'll do a knock down.
I know this has been a little bit more of a serious one. Rolls and lulls. This has just been bleak burnout.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Recruiter.
Because it's my joke. Recruiter who?
Fuck off.
I'm so happy about this joke. It really works.
Thanks for listening to Rolls and Lolz.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.